Thank you for letting us in. Neighbors claim they practice witchcraft. Burying bodies out in the desert. What? Everything will be fine.
Had a whole month off. Still didn't think of a way to start this damn podcast.
Still didn't.
Still didn't think of anything pithy to say. Other than, hey, hi, howdy, how the fuck you doing,
How the
girl?
fuck is it going?
We've been missing you something big.
Something just, you know when you get that deep ache that just,
Yeah, for pizza rolls, right?
Pizza rolls, exactly.
Yeah. I know the
Pizza
deep
rolls,
Yeah.
pizza,
Yes.
pizza bagels, pizza bites.
I can't do bagels.
I never liked them either.
They're too
The bagel
thick.
bites,
They're too thick.
was never into them. They like scraped the roof of your mouth because the bread was so just
Unyielding.
hard when it was toasted. You know what I mean? And they just it was literally just like scraping the roof of your mouth.
Yes, bagel bites eats you. Bagel bites eat you as you eat it. It's like pineapple. Pineapple eats you as you eat it. That's
This
why
is
your
true.
mouth's always like raw afterwards.
This is very true. Yeah. Oh my God. It's been a month.
It has. It really has.
Probably even over a month. I don't know.
We
I
took
just
a
kind of lost
vacation.
track of time. Yeah, I guess. I mean, what the fuck? It's fucking season 3. Who knows?
Took a vacation.
Fucking-
Yeah, we don't really.
I don't know. Just welcome.
Remember in the beginning when you would mark things with seasons? When did we stop? Around.
I know,
around
I still
30
do.
Something?
I
You
do.
still.
I've always done
look
that.
Look at you. What season are we in then?
3.
Did you just you just update it whenever you want?
This is pretty much.
Is this the first episode of season 3?
No, it's still the same. The number of episodes continue, but the seasons change. There's something very poetic in there.
Is there a
somewhere.
month hiatus in season 3 though, or was that like we finished season 2 and now we're in season 3?
Yeah,
Okay, so this is the first episode of season 3.
for real. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
a whole new world. It's a whole new show.
This is the. It's like the. Oh, fuck. Why am I like? I haven't podcasted in fucking so long. I can't even think. It's the not the sequel, but the
trilogy.
That's the
Trequel?
word I was looking for. I was honestly gonna say.
My brain wanted to.
I
say
was gonna
trequel.
say triquel.
Triquel.
Nyquil. Yes.
That explains it all.
Yes.
You know who's going to have something to say about that, about your podcasting abilities, is YouTube.
I was hoping you were gonna bring up YouTube because
of course
that
I have to. Yeah, if you were waiting on us to just get into the topic, I'm sorry. Maybe you've forgotten how things work around here, but we need to talk about at least 7 other issues first.
I mean, honestly,
It's been a month.
You know what though? Barbara Charrington's gonna say, "Curb yourself and tell the story." That's what she's saying.
Curb yourself and tell the story.
Can I just say, I
That was to me.
absolutely love that.
Curb
yourself.
and tell the story. Like I'm sort of enamored with Barbara for this comment because I do feel like it is sort of like a me to me moment. Like I feel like that's me speaking to myself in the mirror and my moments
Curb
of just
yourself.
like absolute self-dread. But also, fuck you, Barbara. I'm not a journalist, and I never claimed to be. At what point in the opening of this show did you ever hear me say, we didn't even tell you who the fuck we are?
No.
First of all, you should know, I guess. But I never said, hey, it's the Haunted Heart Podcast with Kenny and Katie. Welcome to our journalism podcast. Did I say we were a journalism podcast? No. Did I say that we were fucking 48 hours or whatever? No.
No.
Did I say that we were going to explain the science behind things? No.
No. In fact, there are plenty of times where we actively say, "Do not listen." to our advice most of the time. Listen to the advice of your medical professionals and, you know, just professionals in general.
My advice is to find somebody whose advice you can follow. This is probably not me.
YouTube is one of those things where it's just like it just hates you.
Yeah.
And people are just, I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. There was that, what was that one comment that, she said, pride cometh before the fall.
Was that a comment from YouTube?
Pride cometh before the fall. I don't know who she was talking to.
Stunning.
But ma'am, I'm here to tell you, pride may cometh before the fall, but wall cometh before the mart. And that's where we're from. Okay.
From Walmart.
So
From the town of Walmart.
Yes.
No, I feel like YouTube is a very toxic social platform. If you're listening to this on YouTube right now, bless you. We love you. We love you and we want you to be well. But YouTube is very interesting. It's a very like weirdly toxic place, and we post our episodes on YouTube, not because we're trying to make it big on YouTube. Like, we're not, again, we have said this many times. We are not film stars. We are like podcast, not stars.
We're voice talent, not face talent.
Right. We're not here to serve the face. But the reason that we actually put our episodes on YouTube in full is because we've heard from like quite a few listeners that that's where they choose to listen to us. They, for whatever reason, they don't have a podcast app that they go to. It's just easier for them to stream off of YouTube. And so we do put our episodes there for those people. But what was interesting is during the break, somehow we got picked up by the YouTube algorithm, and YouTube was confused. And so like everybody was like commenting on our shit, and they were just like,
why are you here?
Why are you doing this? One of my favorite ones was, who are you and why do you do this?
That was the same comment from the one who said, pride cometh before the fall. She made two comments.
You know, I could say the same thing to her though. Like, who are you and why are you doing this?
That one was great. That one was great. Who are you and why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I saw that, and then I took a look in the mirror, and I just had a full-blown crisis.
Yeah. Who am I, and why am I?
Why am I doing this? I say as I just plummet off the side of the building. Thanks, commenter.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And then also, thanks to that one motherfucker who wrote a fucking essay, dissertation.
Incredible.
Fucking
stunning.
On how incorrect I am, or not necessarily how incorrect, but just how like they couldn't understand why I got to the point that I got to, and they were like, "How fucking dumb are you? How fucking dumb are you that like you think that there was foul play with this? I mean, it's not like, you know, there was a foot that was cut off, and you know." Found in a boot, you know, I mean, there was absolutely nothing suspicious about anything in your case, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool.
It was good. I'm
glad you spent all that energy on that. And my response to that is, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's very interesting. It's just, it was kind of cool to see like our world combine with like collide, I guess, with the YouTube world. And like, it was interesting. But then a couple people were like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, there were a lot of nice comments too. It's just the bad comments on YouTube are so bad that it's just like hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we didn't plan that at all. But if we met you on YouTube through that struggle, then great. Glad you're here. Glad the algorithm brought you to us. But anyway, it's been a good month.
It has been. We're in October.
I'm lying. It hasn't been. I was really stressed out the whole time, but it's all right.
It's October now. You know, spooky season.
Yes. Now
the weather has been phenomenal.
This is going to be a good fucking month. Except for today. It was hot today, weirdly. It was weirdly hot today, and I had a sweater on, and I was mad. But it was okay.
It's okay. I'm still drinking my pumpkin cream cold brew.
Yeah,
in defiance of the heat.
Still looking for my text asking me would I like anything from the Starbucks. on the run that you made before we started recording. Still looking for that text.
It was a last minute decision. Mm-hmm. I have not had dinner yet. Mm-hmm. And so the coffee is substituting food right now. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be interesting. If you hear any rumbles from my stomach, then that's what that is.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
You might. It's look at it as an Easter egg that we put in for you, you know? It's like a stomach rumble.
They're like, I really didn't miss this.
I didn't.
That's what all of the listeners, they're like, didn't miss this. Thought I did.
Wow.
Didn't. They really are shit.
It got worse. It got worse. It got worse.
No, but we are excited to be back. We've got a fresh, cool little intro for you. We've got some cool things that's happening this month, which, you've seen us tease if you're part of our Facebook group or follow us on any of our social medias. We're really excited because we're doing a Halloween special with Snacks with Stein. Yes. Which is really cool, and we're really excited to release that for you guys. It's kind of like our own fun little audio story about the Halloween tree by Ray Bradbury. So. Yes,
it's like when they put H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds on the radio and didn't tell anybody, except way less of a complete travesty. So it's like that, but more fun, less devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are. It's like a teledrama.
Tele? Are we on TV?
Should we say no? We already went over that. It's like a radio drama.
Yeah.
Radio play.
An audio drama.
Play. Okay, it is what it is, but it's basically we're gonna get together, and we are going to tell you guys a story in 2 parts. And it's based off of Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree, as Kenny has said, and we made sure. All of you guys that have kids out there who are celebrating spooky season, we made sure that this is a 100% PG audio drama for you. So this is something that you can get your kids in the room. You guys can sit down, turn on all the lights, light some candles, and listen in to parts 1 and part 2 next week that we're going to drop for you on the 13th and the 15th. So instead of doing an episode next Wednesday, you will actually get 2 installments of the audio drama, and it's 100% like safe for your kids. We don't curse. I know it's really fucking hard to believe, but we don't curse.
Yeah.
So that was something that we had kind of talked with folks, and they had expressed interest before in having some family friendly content. So there you go. Mm-hmm. For you.
I thought it was I really wanted to create something that everyone could listen to, and I think that it is something that is just that like you can, even if you don't have kids, like it's still cool to listen to. It's not just for kids, but like something that everyone can listen to, and you don't have to like hide it from your fucking boss at work.
Right.
Like
I think it encapsulates the spirit of Halloween in the sense that it can be enjoyed by everybody communally. And that was kind of what we were going for. So hopefully you like it. Hopefully you think it's cool. Maybe you think it's really fucking lame, but I'm sure YouTube
we'll see what YouTube,
we'll see what YouTube has to say about it, and then we'll just move on with our lives.
Our next comment from YouTube's like, what the fuck is this?
So that's that. As Kenny said, we have a couple things coming down the pike, but we will kind of update you guys as we go along, and we're feeling funky, we're feeling fresh, we're feeling energized, and we're feeling like it's time to get this fucking show on the road.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that energy, we're going to dive in to our first story of season motherfucking 3.
Season 3?
I guess.
Yep. It's not mine.
It's not.
It's not mine.
It's not yours. It's not yours.
I'm just here listening. I am here for the show.
Just kick back, ease back. All right.
I'm eased.
Are you done? Are you ready?
Yes.
Is it time?
Yes.
Okay. They've been waiting a month for this. Do you think we should make them wait
longer?
They
can wait another like 14 minutes. That's perfectly fine.
So, coming back in to your ear holes, it's me. So you're in trouble. And you know we're about to get real depressed. We spent a while
Fuck.
talking. We spent a while talking so we could be on them good vibes. But now we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave that behind. So just put those good vibes in a box because you're gonna need to pull them out
Just
later.
bring them back out at the end of the show.
You're gonna need to pull them back out later. March 12th, 2004, Fresno, California. What started out as a routine custody dispute at a house in the west central area of the city suddenly and inexplicably escalated into the worst mass murder in Fresno's history. Preceded by years of abuse and manipulation, the events of March 12th culminated in a shocking and horrifying discovery few could have imagined. This is the case of Marcus Wesson, the vampire cult murderer.
All right. So, number one, I have no clue. I don't know what this is about. Haven't heard of it. So, all fresh for me. Vampire cult, totally into that. Vampire cult.
You think that you are going to remember that.
Let me
regret
rephrase
it.
Let me rephrase. Into that aesthetic, right? Nice vampire cult.
Like
maybe
the
like this
Lost
cult,
Boys?
like maybe that's my problem.
It's much less Lost Boys, and it's much more. We're going to jail.
Well, if I had let me rephrase. If I had a vampire cult, I would make sure that we give back to the community.
Yeah, it would be fucking amazing. It would be like the Hells Angels.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. This isn't that.
This is not that.
God.
100% not that.
Okay.
Not even 1% that.
Very much in the spirit of the season, though. Little
Yeah.
vampy topic.
You know, that's what I was thinking. And then as often happens to me, I was like, oh, we could talk about this because this is like an element of this. And then you dig in and it's just real sad. And you're like, well, they gonna get it anyway. So here we go. So before we examine the tragic events of that day in 2004, let's take a look at how we got there. So we're going to do a...
Do I need to insert a sound clip here?
I think we covered it.
Okay.
I think we live action we fucking did it live.
We did.
So we're going to take a look at how we got there. In the early 1960s is where we are. So the fashion is on point.
Yep. We're in what was going on in the 60s? It was like very mod, right?
Yes. Yep. It sure was.
That's like Twiggy, right? Mod.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Cool.
It may have been a little early for Twiggy. I don't know. Maybe like late 60s was her.
I'm just going to say it's mod, man.
Yeah,
60s mod.
go for it.
60s mod. Yes. Shapes, primary colors.
YouTube will let us know. YouTube will let us know what was happening in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
So, in the early 1960s, Marcus Wesson was a high school dropout who was stationed in Europe with the Army. He had been born in Kansas and raised as a Seventh-day Adventist. Wesson claimed that his mother was a religious fanatic. His father, though, was far from the religious ideal. Wesson alleged that he was an alcoholic and a child abuser who abandoned the family when Wesson was still a child. Following his tour of duty in Europe, so to say, Wesson returned to the U.S. and fucking bailed on the military for reasons unknown. Soon, though, he became involved with Rosemary Solorio, a married woman living in San Jose, California. It must have heated up pretty quickly because Solorio soon busted up with her husband, and Wesson moved in with her and her children. So if you can't tell by the tone, this would prove to be pretty damn ominous.
I mean, it doesn't give me good vibes, that's for sure. I feel like these cards are not, giving me what I want right now. The cards are like, here's the way to not go. This is not the path to go down.
Europe could have kept this one, as far as I'm concerned.
Europe could have kept it.
They could have kept it. I didn't need him back in the U.S. So in 1971, it was all smiles and happy tears as Celorio gave birth to Wesson's son. What Celorio didn't know, however, was that Wesson had simultaneously been cultivating a relationship with one of Celorio's daughters from her former marriage, Elizabeth. And in 1974, at the age of 8, Elizabeth was married to 27-year-old Marcus Wesson in a home ceremony conducted by Wesson himself, who claimed that God had chosen her to be his bride. And it gets worse, as you might have expected. When Elizabeth turned 12, Wesson began sexually abusing her. At age 15, Wesson married his child bride legally, following the announcement of her pregnancy. 4 months after their official union, Elizabeth gave birth to her first child. She would birth 10 more children by Marcus Wesson by the time she turned 26.
Shit.
Yeah, it just starts real bad and then gets worse.
So this woman just let her daughter, like...
They literally don't, like, I looked at multiple
Like-
sources for this case and, like, tried to figure out what happened to that Rosemary Celorio woman. And, like, I guess she just fucking dipped. Because they don't really mention her after he child bride weds Elizabeth, like, she's just never mentioned again.
Just she dipped.
I mean, I'm sure somebody on fucking YouTube knows exactly what happened, but like, yeah, she's just not,
this is what happened.
she's just not mentioned. I guess she just fucking eased out. Like, I don't know. What do you do? Certainly that wouldn't be anything easy about what I would do. But, yeah, she never gets mentioned again. And I guess they never got married. Like, they had a kid together, but.
Yeah.
You know, none of the research says that they got married. That Rosemary lady. So I guess he would just like got Elizabeth and got out.
Okay, that's what we're just gonna say. She fucked off somewhere.
Yeah. So in a bizarre move, one of Elizabeth's younger sisters later left her own 7 children with her sister and Wesson, claiming that she was unable to care for them. But it's difficult to believe that Wesson was any better equipped to care for the kids, given that he never held a steady job, and he preferred to live off welfare instead, and later off the earnings of his adult children, who had to seek his permission in order to be allowed to work outside the home.
See, we entered fucked up a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? But I am starting to see the formation of said cult like behavior here, and concerning, right? Because you've got this man who has all these people around, and there's so many, like, so she. It was this person's sister. Is that what you said?
Elizabeth's sister.
It was Elizabeth's sister.
Ditched a bunch of
just
her
ditched her kids. Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't really either. But
why would you do that?
what she just decided to do, I guess.
And now these people, you have to have permission to work outside the home? I'm sorry.
All the parents listening to this podcast are like, I mean, I fight the urge to drop my kids off somewhere every fucking day.
I mean, but what I don't understand here is that you need permission to work outside of the home. Okay, yeah. Is working inside the home going to pay the bills? Because
work from home, is it COVID? Is it a COVID moment?
I mean, are we Zoom calling? Yeah. Are we remote working from home? Because I need to know what. Like, how the fuck else do you think that we're supposed to support this cult family here? Yeah. And it's not going to be just fucking washing your shitty britches.
Yeah. Ew, I bet his britches weren't really shitty. Yeah.
Next.
So in 1989, Wesson was convicted of welfare fraud and perjury, which could have contributed to his significant distrust of police. For years, he warned his wife, Elizabeth, who it feels weird to call her that. But, I mean, she was. For years, he warned her and the children to prepare for the day when the devil with a badge and a blue uniform would show up at their door. Until then, he sequestered and homeschooled the family in a series of hideaways along the California coast. And homeschooled, if you can't tell in that sentence, I have it in quotes. They're real big quotes, because I don't think this man was qualified to teach a child anything. So that school part is very debatable.
Debatable. I mean, it's like
I don't think he.
I don't think
he was teaching them.
I don't think he was doing a lot of teaching.
No.
And if it was, it probably wasn't anything good.
Yeah. Very shady. So one of these like so-called hideouts was Tomales Bay, south of San Francisco, where Wesson anchored a rusted-out sailboat and hid the children. Gypsy Wesson, in an interview after all this went down, told ABC News that Marcus Wesson would often leave the children unattended on the boat for 4 or 5 months at a time below deck so no one would see them and ask why they weren't in school. So he would literally just put them below the deck and make them stay there so that nobody would see them and raise any questions.
So they're just living on a boat.
Yeah, because of course none of them are in school. None of these children are enrolled in like public school. Nobody knows that. So nobody knows these children exist.
So we're just on like a docked boat type situation.
I guess.
Because I'm assuming that it's not out at sea. And we're on a docked boat situation, and you've got these, they're living in the boat, living in the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, I don't think this man was a sailor. I don't think that he was sailing this sailboat. I think he was.
You don't think he was spit shot an old schooner and getting it, ready to
he wasn't in the Navy.
Fare the winds, right?
He was an army man. So.
Sail those 7 seas right on out, Fucking, he won't doing that. Yeah. This boat was rusted for sure.
Yeah, it was.
I'm thinking like tugboat. Rusted tugboat. This is what I'm picturing right now. I'm not really picturing speedboat. I'm picturing like more like a tugboat.
Got it.
Really dirty, rusty. It was probably like fucking named like SS Marianne.
SS,
some bullshit.
SOS.
SOS. Someone
SOS,
fucking
please fucking
help me.
Yeah. So 2 hours south of Tomales Bay was another hideout in a remote spot high in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Wesson had the family pitch a huge army surplus tent, and they lived in that encampment for the better part of 12 years, away from the prying eyes of neighbors, social workers, and the police.
Okay, so
you just don't live in a tent.
You know what though? Okay, take away the tent. Take away all of the suspicious behavior. And, I'm kind of into, fucking off in a cabin.
For 12 fucking years? Oh, take away the tent.
Take away the tent and like a cabin, like a nice home somewhere in the mountains, just kind of away from people. I'm into that. But we've got to upgrade from this tent situation. Can you
fucking imagine? Like, I could probably count on one hand the number of nights that I have spent sleeping in a tent. I mean, no shade to anybody who likes camping, but it's just not for you, girl. I'm going to need me some kind of bed. I need me some kind of padding, a man to sleep on the ground. The ground is not for me. The ground is too hard. I need some form of flesh or mattress beneath me.
The last time I slept in a tent, I think it was in the backyard of my best friend's house. And I think I ended up just fucking going inside at like, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was just really cold and dewy.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just like, not for me. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Only on May Day. Call me on Beltane. We can do that. And that'll be the one day of the year that we do that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We're more like living room, like floor tent type people. You know what I mean? Like we're more blanket tent people
with all pillows. It's lovely.
Fairy lights.
Yes.
Snacks.
Yeah.
Lots of blankets. We're very that less like, tarp tent people. We're blanket tent people, not tarp tent people.
Agreed. Now I want to make a blanket tent and put some fairy lights in it and watch some fucking horror movies. Now I want to do that.
Yep.
But instead, we have to talk about this. And that makes me sad. So, most likely, it was the darkness Wesson was cultivating within the family that served as his motivation to stay off of law enforcement's radar for so many years. Following his marriage to Elizabeth, his child bride, Marcus Wesson collected bizarre beliefs and welded them together to create his own fanatical cult-like religion, which he imposed on his family. He hand-wrote his own version of the Bible in crumpled-up, mildewed notebooks, in which he claimed that Jesus was a vampire.
All right. Okay. All right. So listen.
Okay,
First of all, that's what he was doing for the fucking 12 years while he was in a tent. Is fucking writing his fucking Jesus vampire fanfic. And like,
I guess you gotta find some way to keep busy.
You know what? Jesus as a vampire? Cool. All right. I'm kind of like, if this was like a creepypasta, or not even a creepypasta, if this was just like a horror themed, like, mature level, like fanfic, like, 18 plus.
Right.
I'd be into it.
Fanfiction.net could have saved this man? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying to me?
I'm just saying, maybe if he had an outlet to like express his ideas in a healthy way, probably wouldn't do anything. But I'm just saying,
now
Jesus is a vampire.
I want to know if there's vampire Jesus fanfics on fanfiction.net. Like, now I want to know. I'm going to have to look into it. Put a tab.
If there is, maybe we can read it on Patreon.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear anything from us. So, Weston told his family daily that the end was near. Which is just sort of like, oh, okay, find something new. You know what I mean?
That's clickbait, sir.
Yeah.
Fucking clickbait.
Some even believe that Wesson began to believe that he himself was vampire Jesus. According to the children, he would say things like, quote, "If you've seen God, you've seen me," end quote. And within the confines of the isolated, stifling environment that Wesson had designed for the family, it became the truth. One member of the family said of Wesson in an interview, quote, "He was God. That's just the way it was," end quote. And this God was a wrathful God indeed. Punishments would last for weeks or even months. Serafino Wesson, a member of the family who was subjected to Wesson's terror, said of his punishments, quote, "A 30-day punishment involved, 21 hits on your person, and then that's one set in the morning, and then one set in the afternoon, and one before you went to bed. Now imagine getting that for 30 days straight."
Fuck.
For the boys, Wesson's will was enforced with corporal punishment. The girls, however, were taught a very different kind of lesson. Something Wesson called loving. So trigger warning for you here. If you need to step out for a moment, feel free to do so. Take care of you. Do what you got to do. Marcus Wesson would begin touching the girls sexually when they were about 7 or 8 years old, and the grooming began even before that. Some said they felt it was wrong, and others said that since Wesson's rule was all they knew, they had no way of knowing that they were being violated. When asked why their mother Elizabeth didn't stop the abuse, the children said that they felt their mother was powerless. Quote, "She'd been with my dad since she was 8 years old," said Kiani Wesson. "So I felt that she was pretty much, caught up in the same thing." Wesson sexually abused no less than 2 daughters and 3 nieces, each of whom he married in a home ceremony when the children were between the ages of 7 and 9 years old. Court records indicate that Wesson fathered up to 18 children with 7 women and girls, including his 5 daughters. Psychiatrist Edward Hallowell, director of the Hallowell Centers in New York and Boston, has said that Marcus Wesson used fear as a manipulative tool within the family. Quote, what he basically did was create this crucible of fear. He used fear, extreme fear, to get these kids to act completely counter to their self-interest. End quote. As the kids grew older, they were allowed to get jobs, as long as they all turned all their money over to their father. Such was his control over their minds that he could even send them out into the world to work a job and bring their paycheck home to him without raising any cause for alarm. So some of the kids were working outside of the home, that had reached the age of adulthood. They were working outside the home, they were making a wage, and then they would come home and give him their whole paycheck. And at any point, they could have walked into a police station or, but they didn't.
Yeah. Because he's fucked them, psychologically.
Yeah.
They are, I'm assuming that the correct word would be brainwashed, really.
And that's where, I didn't necessarily put in the vampire cult murder thing in, for shock value or, to make you, it wasn't a funny. I wasn't pulling a funny. I really do, this whole, concept, the concept of Jesus as a vampire, whatever. It's very, edgelordy or weird. But the cult part of this is very present because it is very much what we see with other cults where this figure who's in the center of it all is sort of the nexus point, right? And he is able to pull everybody else into his orbit, except for this fucking dude cheated. I mean, it's probably not a good way to word that. But I mean, he was a lot of these people's father, right?
Yeah.
It was this horrible, this incestual mess. And he didn't have to, whereas when you look at a cult like Heaven's Gate, right? Marshall Applewhite had to win those people over. When we look at Jim Jones had to win those people over. He had to find where they were broken. First of all, he had to find the people who were broken. And then he had to find exactly where they were broken and speak to that, right? Yeah. That's what we see in our cult leaders. And that's what makes them so dangerous, is because they can speak to exactly that broken piece.
Yeah.
That defies logic. But this guy the reason he was in charge is because he was the head of the family. And you were born into the family and you don't escape it.
He made sure that they were born broken.
Right.
You know what I mean? That they didn't have a chance to not be broken.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is, just shitty. However, not all of the children in the Wesson home remained under Marcus Wesson's control. Here or there, a niece or nephew would leave the home in search of a better life and would subsequently be excommunicated from the family. There are multiple instances of a niece leaving the family and not being able to take her children, fathered with Marcus Wesson, with her when she leaves. If you left on your own, and you left your kids there. This is actually what led to the fateful call on March 12th of 2004. 2 of Wesson's nieces, who had borne his children, were there to take them back. So, police responded to what had been described to them as a child custody dispute.
Whoa. Yeah. Little did they know what would be left for them to unpack.
Because nobody knew about this. That's the thing. That's the thing about this case is nobody knew about this. Because they were nomadic, because they sort of kept a low profile, Marcus Wesson did all of this by design. He had sort of, by and large, kept away, right? You got that one fraud case in 1989. But by and large, nobody knew that these kids even existed. So nobody was advocating for them because nobody knew they existed.
Right.
So the police respond to what they think is a child custody dispute. And raw police audio from the scene captured the voices of the two nieces screaming at Wesson for their children. Wesson stood at the door telling the women that he wouldn't give up the kids under kidnapping conditions, which is what he called it, and calmly told police that he would cooperate. Then he disappeared into the house. Just gonna say, like, you probably get this in law enforcement training, but just don't let them disappear into the house. If you could just not let them disappear into the house, because this isn't the only case that this happens, and it just really kind of irritates me because it's like, you just gonna let him go. You just gonna fucking go let him get his fucking shoes on and change his shirt? Not. Are you fucking kidding me?
Absolutely not. Sir, you stay on this front porch. Actually, you don't even have a porch. You're in a fucking tent, right?
No, they were living in a house at this point.
Oh, okay.
They were living in a house. And the people in the neighborhood, of course, obviously, like, heard the screaming and stuff, which is why the police are there.
Got
right?
Got it.
But yeah, he just dips back in the house, and I guess that's allowed. But he said he'd cooperate and disappears. Two of the children inside the house, 8-year-old Illabelle and 13-month-old Yeva, belonged to Kiani Wesson, Marcus Wesson's oldest daughter. Kiani Wesson was inside the house that day and watched as her children, along with her closest sister Lise, and 6 other Wesson kids were led into a back bedroom. She would never see them again. No one is exactly sure what happened next. Police claim they heard no gunshots. Kiani Wesson tearfully told ABC News in an interview that she thinks Sabrina Wesson, her 25-year-old sister, pulled the trigger and killed her son, sister, nieces, and nephews. Quote, "I think he had her take everybody, and then he took her life." End quote. Then Marcus Wesson calmly reappeared at the front door of his house as if nothing was amiss. The only problem being, of course, that his clothes were covered in blood. As 57-year-old Marcus Wesson was arrested and led away, officers entered the house and confirmed everyone's fears. 9 bodies lay in a tangled pile on the floor of a back bedroom that was eerily filled with antique coffins. Wesson's other children, who were not present inside the house that day, survived the incident. Marcus Wesson was convicted of 9 counts of first-degree murder on June 17, 2005, and also found guilty on 14 counts of forcible rape and the sexual molestation of 7 of his daughters and nieces. Wesson was sentenced to death on June 27, 2005, and is currently in San Quentin State Prison. So it's really difficult to find a silver lining in this story, but y'all know I'm damn persistent.
Well, so just to kind of go back a little bit, so nobody heard a gunshot?
Police said that they didn't hear a gunshot. Neighbors and bystanders said that they heard the gunshots.
That's so weird.
9. That's something that I want to talk about, like, when we kind of discuss it, like,
okay.
Which, I mean, we can get into it now. What the fuck? We don't have, like, a format, but police said they didn't hear gunshots. Neighbors and onlookers said they heard gunshots. 9 people died, which means 9 times the gun was shot.
Yeah.
Why didn't we get in that house?
Right.
Why didn't we get into that house? Why did we wait for this man to come back to the front door covered in blood? Why didn't we get in that house?
Right.
That's
I don't
my
understand.
Issue. But police are saying, police have said that they didn't hear the gunshots. And maybe they didn't, but it seems strange that police wouldn't have heard the gunshots, but the bystanders heard them.
Right. You have witnesses who say that they heard the gunshots and neighbors.
So
and, like, unless you had, like, a fucking silencer on your shit, which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whatever you shot them with, I don't understand.
I mean, none of the case files mention, case files. I've been watching too much fucking CSI. None of the research that I did mentioned any silencer. Like, I mean, you can make a pretty cheap silencer. So it's possible that he could have had one, but nobody mentioned anything about a silencer.
That's
at
weird.
The scene. So
That's weird. I don't really understand why they wouldn't have heard that.
Yeah.
And again, going back to your point, why you even let him go back into the house anyway?
That should happen.
Like, you already have a
should happen
situation,
I
right?
guess-
Where, like...
I guess you have a situation, but again, like, to play devil's advocate, they thought they were responding to a child custody dispute. They did not understand that this man was very sick.
They didn't understand the level of, like, everything that was going on.
Right. That this was his, like, Ragnarok, basically.
I get that.
I still feel like it's a good practice to just not let him go back
Right,
inside, because you don't know
like-
what's inside, girl.
Like, no, like, I don't know. I'm
Jodie Foster
to me...
from fucking Silence of the Lambs would have never let him go back inside.
No, she just goes in by herself and, like...
Not wise either.
Which is not wise, also.
But shit, at least she went the fuck in. I'm over here like, how do you get off 9 shots and like the fucking cops are
That's what
standing
I don't
on your fucking
understand.
front porch?
I mean, yeah, that's
how
what
would
I
you
don't
not
understand.
Hear it? And how would you not come right through the fucking door? I have a big issue with that in this case, and I mean,
that's a mystery. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
That's a strange part about this for me.
yeah,
I don't.
raising an eyebrow.
My eyebrow's very raised.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
almost
we're gonna need a treatment.
suspicious.
I'm gonna need a treatment because I'm getting wrinkles up here from this eyebrow being raised too much.
Uh-huh.
All right, so you ready for the uplifting part? Because I really
Is
wanted
there
to just,
like I don't.
I mean, it's sorta makes you feel better.
I mean, please something like
Something. So it's again very difficult to find a silver lining, but I need a fucking silver lining, and I'm a look for one. Damn it. So one of the reporters who interviewed, because obviously after this happened, like it was huge, and all these different news networks were covering it. You interestingly don't hear much about Marcus Wesson now, and I don't know if it's just that there's not a lot of details about how the family lived for so long. Like, I don't know if it's that there's not a lot of like nitty gritty details, or that the story is kind of hard to follow because these children are his grandkids and his kids and also his nieces and also his nephews all together.
it's a lot.
So I don't know if it's that, but it doesn't tend to get covered a lot in the true crime podcasts that I listen to. And so it's very, or maybe it's just that he's black and we just don't cover black serial killers.
Yeah.
Even if they're the biggest mass murderer in Fresno, California. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. But it just doesn't get covered a lot. But apparently when it happened, and I don't remember it, to be quite honest with you. But
I don't remember it.
There
Yeah,
was
I was
a
trying
lot
to-
of coverage.
I was trying to think because you were what 2004.
Yeah, it was 2004. We would have been like aware of stuff, but I guess I don't know.
Aware of stuff. Honey, I mean, I'm here to tell you, in 2004, I wasn't aware of shit.
I mean, in
but
2020,
like,
I'm not aware of.
the only thing I was aware of in 2004 was my fucking like
Pokemon?
LimeWire fucking playlist.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
AOL.
Like that was the only thing I was aware of.
America Online. I never had AOL. I had I may have had AOL, but I was into Yahoo Messenger. Fuck yeah. Yahoo Messenger was
Yahoo
shit.
Messenger. No, I think I've said this before. ICQ.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't allowed to download anything onto
Yeah.
my computer. You know, very bad.
Yeah.
Don't download
Viruses.
anything.
Viruses.
If you download anything, it's a virus.
Yeah.
Can't download.
I mean, I still live by that rule.
Me, I'm just like, download. No.
Not so much with Macs. But with my Lenovo, I live by that.
Yeah. So to get around that, I had to go to like the online ones, which were the ICQs.
Oh,
and all of that.
chatpit.com was a whole nother story, but it was less wholesome than Yahoo Messenger.
The things that we did in 2004, like, I'm just saying, like, it.
Are they much better than what we're doing in 2020, though? Like,
Well, no, like,
Or
we
we
could
kinda
just probably, like,
toeing the
get
line.
in. Like we would definitely be canceled if cancel culture was a thing in
Then?
2004. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
maybe. I don't know.
I just feel like it would not
I feel
work
like
out
parents. I
well.
feel like parents today would have probably had. How do I want to say this? I feel like today's parents would not have been equipped for kids who got into the fucking that we got into.
That's what I'm saying.
When we were kids.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, there's no telling who I was fucking talking to on the damn and
Yes.
it was just that's a moment in history, and we're just gonna leave it packed in the past. And it's okay to visit it like occasionally.
Hopefully you
like
weren't
nostalgia.
talking to Marcus Wesson.
Hopefully I wasn't, but who knows?
I don't think you were.
Like I said, my little closeted self was a fucking blonde, blue-eyed, like busty thing, just trying to like explore things on ICQ that I probably should not have been doing.
Yeah.
And there's no telling what was going on. Danger. Lots of danger.
Well,
Don't do it.
That's a horror story for another episode. Do you want? Can I share my uplifting piece of information?
I mean,
Everybody is fucking bummed out, and now we're talking about ICQ, and they are just like, I fucking didn't miss this podcast at all. Why
what
did
is
you bring
it?
it back?
What? All right, I want you to hit
Just
me.
keep
hit
it.
me.
I don't need it.
Hit me with that silver lining.
Okay. So one of the reporters, remember there was this huge media storm, and one of the reporters who had interviewed the Wesson children, Alicia Sofios, decided that she couldn't just sit by and watch from the sidelines on this case. Despite knowing that she was breaking the number one rule of journalism, YouTube would be very upset with her. Because YouTube is a place for journalism.
What is the number one rule of journalism?
Never become part of the story.
Really?
Never become part of the story. So despite knowing that she was breaking that rule, she invited two of the women Wesson had abused to come live with her. Gypsy and Kiani had never been to school and had no way to make a livable wage. Sophios knew this, and so she invited the women to live in her apartment with her, and they did. The gesture wasn't soon forgotten either. Gypsy and Kiani have since gone on to build lives of their own. Gypsy even had a daughter with a different man, whom she named Alicia in honor of the woman who took her in.
Oh, that's sweet.
See? It's really sweet. There
Yeah.
you go. Got that for you.
Yeah, that was sweet.
And with that said, I'd like to end this case by putting the focus where it belongs, on the victims of this horrible man. Because he is not important. His name is not important. He's not a god. He's not Vampire Jesus. He's just sick and sad. These are the names we remember and the spirits we lift up. Sabrina April Wesson, age 22. Elizabeth Briai Kina Wesson, age 37. Illabelle Carey Wesson, age 8. Aviv Dominique Wesson, age 7. Jonathan St. Charles Wesson, age 7. Sidonia Solario Wesson, age 2. Marshy St. Christopher Wesson, age 2. Ethan St. Laurent Wesson, age 4. Yeva St. Vladinsvripi Wesson, age 1. And that's it.
I think that if you're listening, I think definitely in the spirit of the season right now, light a candle. Mm-hmm. Light a candle for the memories of those that were taken just extremely too early and born into a situation that they should not have been born into.
Right. Who didn't have a choice in it.
Who were essentially born to be broken. Mm-hmm. And I think that we should all light a candle for those people and for everyone involved in that situation. And so,
Yeah.
and I know this is really superficial to say, but beautiful names.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they would have been beautiful people too had they not been taken too soon. So, there you go.
God.
Yeah. Vampire cult sounds fun when you get started, and then it just is so soul crushingly sad. So glad to
So you have done
glad
your
to be
job.
back.
You have effectively done your job.
Glad to be back to bring you this sadness that I'm just marinating in over here. And
What is it with you in this? Like, do you just like? I really want to think of the most fucked up topic.
No, do you know what
And,
it
like-
is? Do you know what it is? It's I think the cases that move me, one, are things that I don't think are talked about enough. And two, sometimes I'll like hear about a case and I just have to cover it because I'm just like, what in the fuck is this case? But most of the time it's a situation where, like, if we don't remember those, I think about those kids and I'm like, nobody knew that they existed, so nobody could advocate for them because he kept them hidden away from the world. So they didn't get to have a life. And nobody knew that they were there. And then they were taken from the world. And it's like, that's fucked up and somebody should remember them.
Yeah.
And I gravitate towards those stories because somebody ought to remember. It should be somebody's job to remember and to tell the story and to carry it with them. And that's in some, in our like shitty trash-tastic podcast, it's a way that I can think of to remember them because they were here and they were important and somebody should remember their name.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Wow, welcome back.
even though there's that meme that's like, imagine dying and a shitty true crime podcast talking about you, and I'm just like, damn. I really do try. Like,
they imagine some girls skips your episode
yeah.
because it seems boring.
Damn.
Fuck.
I mean, mine would be for COVID. Just be like, well, she tried to get out of the recliner again, but didn't quite make it. That was it for her.
And that was it. She was done.
She tried to get out of the recliner without closing it.
They were two podcasters. They lit candles in a very flammable room, and
Very
then they just went up.
Yeah.
So there's that. And that's the end of their
I
show.
look forward to that. We should make a deal, drop a contract with one of our fellow true crime podcasts to cover our case with us lighting all these candles in this room filled with fiberglass. We should pick out who you want to cover us.
Maybe they'll have an audio. Maybe they can do an audio drama
It would be incredible.
about us.
We've done an audio drama. You should listen to it. It's gonna come out next week. So I depressed you really bad this week coming back. Sorry about that.
Yep.
But here it is. You wanted it. You actually wanted this. Facebook, I'm looking at you. You asked for it.
It's fine because they'll get a buffer before my episode when I come back because we'll do that.
So you got real depressed this week. Next week,
fun,
family friendly. Fun for everybody from 9 to 99. Fuck that though. From 0 to 99. From fetus to 99. And more.
Fetus to 99.
But yeah, so you're gonna get that next week. It's gonna be in 2 parts. First part is October 13th. That's a Tuesday, so pay attention if you are like me and you don't know what day of the week it is ever. Tuesday is when the first part is dropping, not our normal Wednesday release. There won't be an episode on Wednesday. And then part 2 is dropping on Thursday, the 15th. So you'll get parts 1 and part 2 that week. Enjoy it. Throw a fucking party. Dress up. Gather around your radio like a fucking fireside chat. I'm all about it. And if you do, if you do anything fun to, celebrate and listen to it, send us pictures. That would be so cool.
What a fucking... goober thing to
I mean,
say.
but if you do, I mean, I'm really excited about it. Like, we worked really hard on it. It was in the works for a long time. And when we kept telling you guys, like, oh, we have something, trust us. And you guys were like, they ain't got nothing.
Shit.
We actually did.
We were actually doing
on it for
things.
months. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been hard sitting on this secret.
It has. It's not quite comfortable.
No.
Not quite there yet. So yeah, so definitely listen to it. Let us know what you think. Again, it's safe for kids, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, let us know what you think, and then we'll see you guys the week after with a brand new regular episode on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and it'll be a Kenny episode.
It'll be a Kenny episode, so there's no telling what the fuck you gonna get.
So you can come in secure in the knowledge that I'm not gonna fuck with
that.
you.
It won't be
He's gonna fuck with
absolutely
you.
fucking super depressed. I don't know. Maybe it will be. Who knows?
You've
I don't
done
know.
some sad ones.
Have I? Have I done
Yes,
sad ones?
yeah, you have.
Do I do sad episodes?
I feel like
Name one.
maybe. I don't know. I don't fucking listen to this podcast. No, I'm kidding.
I try not to. I try to keep us balanced. You know.
Yeah, bring that light in.
I think. Well, yeah. We try to balance. We try to balance each other. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's that time. You remember when we have to do like our social media stuff and all
Oh,
that? Like,
yeah. Oh, fuck.
do we remember how to do that? Do we remember our social media handles? Do we even care? Because most everybody has already left, even though you know how much that just fucking irks me when you
Really?
leave, because I'm telling you, some of the best editing happens at the end.
That's true. Closeouts
are great. It's a
Closeouts
whole
are fun
vibe.
here.
It's a whole thing.
I mean, we ain't
Stay
doing
till the
shit
end.
on this closeout, but
No,
it might
but
be
I
fun some
mean,
other time.
it might be fun. You don't know what happens at the end. You just don't know. It's like life. You don't know.
I think I know what happens at the end of life, though. Anyway,
Well, can you please fucking tell me?
I'll tell you later. It's kind of a bummer. So you can
Bad ending.
You can find us on Instagram at The Haunted Heart Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Haunted Heart. You can find us on Facebook in 2 different places. If you search The Haunted Heart, you will find, if you search The Haunted Heart Podcast, you will find our Facebook page, right?
Yep.
Which is like the page for our organization. And it really helps us with posting shit if you will just go ahead and give us a rating on Facebook, like a 5-star rating, for example, is a rating that you could give us if you wanted to be a good person.
Right.
And then by searching Haunted Heart Podcast on Facebook, you can also find our closed Facebook group. It's a private group. Nobody can see what's being posted in there unless they're in the fucking group themselves. So it is very much like Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. So if somebody else can see what you're posting in there, it's because they're in there posting the same bullshit. So you're good. Aunt Bernice is not going to see your fucking freak flag until you're ready to fly it
Bernice.
at Thanksgiving dinner and make a memory. So definitely request to join either Kenny, myself, or a member of our Murder Mod Squad. We'll approve you, and it's just a cool place to talk about horror, to talk about the topics we cover on the show, to talk about anything, really. It's just a really cool community, and we would love to have you in it.
Yeah, as long as your name isn't Barbara Charrington.
Oh, Barbara Carrington, sweetie, if you request to join the Facebook group, I will personally approve you. Because I want to know what you have to say to Kenny.
No, that was you.
Oh,
She was the one.
me?
Barbara Charrington was the one who said, "Curb yourself and tell the story."
and tell the story.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll let you.
Barbara
know
is
Barb.
Barbara's the curb yourself person.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right, Barb.
That's
You
all
can
right,
come in
Barb.
the group. Come on in.
Barb.
Come on into my house, Barb.
I mean, if she comes into the house, I mean, you definitely want to talk about a vampire cult. Like, I mean, they will get you. There's lots of cannibals in this cult.
That's true.
And fair warning, Barbara, you may just want to bite the curb on this one.
Yourself. Yeah. Oh, the other thing that we have that I completely fucking forgot about is Patreon. Patreon.com/thehauntedheart. Check us out.
Yes.
There's
wow.
some stuff there.
Ironic, huh?
Patreon, you have some stuff on the way.
Patreon's done with it. They're like,
Patreon left the chat.
They said no.
Check your mailbox is all I'm going to say. over the next little bit.
4 to
Check
6
your
weeks.
mailbox.
No.
Check it. Just let me know. Let me know what's in there. Unless it's a bill, don't tell me if it's a bill. Anyway, I think that was the shittiest closeout I've ever done. Can we end this?
Yes.
But in all seriousness, we did miss you. Something awful.
Something just hard. Just deep down in there. We missed you something hard, you know.
Interesting. Okay, I think it's time to take a break. But
It's hard for you. That's all we're going to say.
Before we go, we just have to remind you guys to be good little boils and ghouls this holiday season and
Stay spooky. So about the end of life, how does that go?
I think it's time for us to have a conversation.